a marina to rival Monaco, and streets that are packed with history. This is Whitehaven. Whitehaven lies on the West Cumbrian coast, facing the Irish Sea, but within a short drive of the Lake District. Its fortunes have always been closely tied with the sea and with the coal that lies deep underground. Later I'll be sampling rum and meeting local artist and poet Natalie Burns. But first, here's some history. The first and only time that Britain was attacked by American naval forces was here at Whitehaven. Despite being born across the Solway Firth in Scotland, John Paul Jones, the founder of the American Navy, arrived off the coast on 23rd of April 1778 during the American War of Independence, intent on setting ablaze the town's entire merchant fleet of around 200 ships. Jones landed with a small party of men in the early hours of the morning, but he was soon recognised as he had previously spent time in the town and acquired quite a bad reputation. The alarm was raised and he swiftly retreated, the whole operation an embarrassing failure. The development of the town is inextricably linked with the Lowther family. In 1634, Sir Christopher Lowther built a stone pier that allowed Cumberland coal to be exported by boat. Then, in the latter part of the 18th century, Sir John Lowther oversaw the growth of the town into a major port, built primarily on trade with the British colonies in the Americas, including 10% of Britain's tobacco imports. Huge investment created one of the largest harbours in the country. Sir John Lowther was also responsible for the architecture and planning of the town. It is the most complete example of a planned Georgian town in Europe, and it's believed that the grid pattern of the streets set the tone for the grid patterns that became commonplace in the newly developing cities of America. Sir John was very particular about the look of the buildings, and that attention to detail has created a townscape that now includes a staggering 170 listed buildings. Most are as beautiful as the day they were first painted, whilst others, well, they're still waiting some tender loving care. The other big driver in Whitehaven's growth was coal. Again, the Lowthers were centre stage. First Sir John, then Sir James, who reportedly became the richest commoner in England with his near monopoly of the Cumberland coalfields. He even sunk the deepest pit in Europe underneath the sea at Saltham. In total, over 70 pits were sunk in the Whitehaven area, with the last closing in 1986. Whilst devastating to the economy, it has to be remembered that the coal mines had even more devastating consequences for the miners themselves. The town's harbour is dominated by the remnants of the Wellington pit, the large chimney called the Candlestick, and the lodge, designed by Sidney Smirke, the architect responsible for the reading room at the British Museum. The buildings may have been ornate, but the pit itself was lethal. An explosion in 1910 claimed the lives of 147 miners, just one of a series of fatal accidents since mining began in the town. The best place to learn more about the history of the town is at the excellent Beacon Museum that sits proudly on the south side of the harbour. However, all over the town you'll find really informative signage that brings the town's past to life and sets it in a modern context. This truly is a great town for strolling in the sunshine. Whitehaven's sport of choice is, of course, rugby league. Now, the team won't be gracing the Super League anytime soon, but then again, if it was, it would miss out on the local derbies, with Barrow, but above all, its fiercest rival, Workington. when it comes to public art, you'll find that Whitehaven is definitely Premier League. Whitehaven's most unique tourist attraction is the rum story, set in the original 1785 shop and warehouse of the famous Jefferson's Company. It tells the tale of the town's early colonial links with the Caribbean and the intoxicating rum trade, but also pulls no punches when it comes to the far darker narrative of the trade's involvement in slavery. I highly recommend a visit. This is the original office of the Jefferson Rum Company. It was simply sealed, nobody bothered to clean it. So now it is a perfect time capsule. All of the papers, the documents, everything is exactly as it was on the last day of operation.
We're going this way, that way, forwards and backwards over the Irish Sea. A bottle of rum to fill my tongue, a pirate's life for me. Yar me hearties!
That is exactly how you feel after a bottle of rum. I'm delighted to say that my friend Natalie Burns is currently exhibiting here in the courtyard at the Rum Story. Natalie, what is it about your hometown and its surroundings that inspires your artwork?
It isn't until more recently that I've been captivated by the architecture in my town. As a youngster growing up in Whitehaven, I didn't really appreciate it. A lot of the town was quite run down, and there has been a lot of money spent, particularly on the harbour and surroundings. But actually the architecture is fantastic, and that's what I've been concentrated on lately, painting, particularly with the lockdown, and I couldn't really go very far. So one month I painted a different picture of the harbour every day, and then in the March I painted a different building every day. Yeah, I remember when I was at college in Durham and the geography professor actually saying to me, "Wow, you're from Whitehaven, that is just an amazing Georgian town." And you know it is.
Well, my private yacht is just about ready to set sail, so that's all from Whitehaven. If you've enjoyed the film, then please subscribe to the channel and I'll see you on the next journey.